Tradition of trauma.
I heard this beatin' ain't even have to write this shit. She heard me rapping, ain't even know why she liked this shit. Suburban baby, no dreams of being a wife and shit. Love purple, can't see herself in all white and shit. Love trapper, she got caught up in the life and shit.
So today, I'm not going to hold you too long, but I want to talk about the tradition of trauma in our culture and how it keeps getting passed down. I'm not preaching to you. The tradition is alive and strong in my family as well, but I'm going to start with a story I heard on the Joe Budden podcast where a little girl was watching her mother prepare dinner for Thanksgiving, and she saw her mother cut the ends off of each side of the ham, put it in the pan, then put the pan in the oven. She asked her mom, "Why you do that?" She said, "I always saw your grandmother do it, so that's why I do it." Ask your grandmother. She goes to her grandmother, and she asks, "Grandma, why do y'all do that?" She said, "I always saw my mother do it, so that's why we do it." Ask your great-grandmother. She goes to her great-grandmother. Her great-grandmother says, "Back in slave times, we couldn't fit the whole ham in the pans that they would give us, so we cut off both ends so it would fit in the pan." The little girl responded with, "Well, we have pans that are big enough now, so why do we still do that?" That's a prime example of the tradition of trauma that's been passed down in our community and our culture. And you hear it in the sayings. Colored people time. You know how niggas do. That's nigga shit. You know, that's black people shit. That I use the terms too. That don't make it right. And we numb to it because we used to death. You know, we used to the fall off. We used to losing our leaders or our leaders letting us down in our community, which makes us horrible at compartmentalizing greatness in our community. You know, no one's all good and no one's all bad. Will Smith wasn't all good before the slap. He wasn't all bad after. Kanye West wasn't all good before his meltdown. He ain't all bad now. But we don't acknowledge that in our community. Someone's either all bad or all good, depending on the media outlet that you subscribe to. You feel me? But somehow we can acknowledge that Trump is a bigot, an asshole, and a racist, yet still say, "Yo, them stimmies, though, helped the nigga out when I was down. Yo, you know what? Hey, the scammers was up when Trump was in. You know, he looked out for my tax break." So we can compartmentalize with others, but we can't do that with our own community for some reason. And it stems from the tradition of trauma in our culture and honestly, just generational conditioning. Generational conditioning is the reason why you won't kick your son out at 18 because your father kicked you out at 18. Not realizing that your father kicked you out at 18 because he had to. He couldn't afford you. But in this world, it may benefit your son that you let him stay with you till he's 25. He may have a head start that way. You passing on outdated trauma to him. Because that's how it worked in your day. That's how it's going to work. That's something you went through. So he got to go through it. Soul food. I eat the shit too. I had ribs today, shawty. That's the shit they gave us when we was literally in captivity. And we still eat it. We still indulge. The tradition of trauma is the reason why we think money excuses us from everything. We think money validates us. My favorite Kanye West quote is, "Having money's not everything. Not having it is." Why do we think that? Why? Because the TVs, the artists, the big homies, little homies, friends, family, girls, boys, you know, money's capital. Money make the world go round. And then how we get our money? We sell our trauma. We sell it and then we let them sell it through our movies, 12 Years a Slave, music, Shoulda Ducked, TV, Zeus Network. I watch and indulge in all of that. I'm not preaching to you, but I'm saying though, how long we gonna pass down the trauma? We wear our trauma. Gucci robbed us in the 90s when they stole Dapper Dan's designs and then called us niggas in the 2000s. I still got Gucci in my closet. H&M put a lynch on a shirt? Or the coolest monkey or some dumb shit? I got H&M shirt right now, shorty. Like, it's because we used to it. Because we thrive in it. Or we ignore it and we don't notice it. We look at Blueface and his girl like we ain't seen Bobby and Whitney or a million other. Like, we know how this story go. But the tradition of trauma and generational conditioning is the reason why young Dolph thought he could go get them cookies on his own. You feel me? It's the reason why P&B Rock went to have lunch in the trenches. You feel me? Tradition of trauma and conditioning, generational conditioning, is the reason why we emphasize and sympathize with our abusers. Excuse me, empathize and sympathize with our abusers. Like R. Kelly. It's like the whole world has Stockholm Syndrome. It's crazy. And I'm going to end it with this. The tradition of trauma and generational conditioning is the reason why we have millionaires, superstars getting killed in a dice game. When the last time you seen a bunch of wealthy white men bent over on the sidewalk rolling dice? I know the story and the details. I'm using this as an example. I understand it wasn't exactly on a sidewalk. When the last time you seen millionaire white men rolling dice? I got an answer. But I was at a casino last time I seen it. You know what you can't do? Ain't no guns in here. Security checking you. It's a controlled environment. Safe. They do it too. But they don't have that tradition of trauma that's been passed down for generations and generations. Listen, dog, I'm not preaching to you. I'm just smoking, thinking, and vibing.
On the scale from 1 to 10, I came in on a 40. And I'm smoking blue gummies, that shit that make your soul glow. Mix it with some Henny, now everything is slow-mo. This jacket from Japan, this shirt here from Soho. Picture perfect, baby, might catch me in a photo.